It is official. Unfortunately, a weird day. One of the best days in recent Broncos memory, and also kind of one of the worst as well. Hard to describe the emotions kind of going through Broncos country right now, but it is, all over the place, and we're here to break everything down. The game, the sad news about our starting quarterback, Bo, and all that right here. Guys, it's welcome to Broncos Digest. I'm Sebastian. I just streamed the whole game. I ended it before hearing the news about Bo, obviously, so vibes were immaculate for 40 minutes. And we'll get into that news, but I don't want this to just be a complete bummer of a video. And I do want to talk about why the Broncos should have some hope for next week because we are still alive. We won the game, and that is something that I think is very much worth discussing, despite just kind of the raw emotions that a lot of us are feeling, like from pure euphoria to sadness because of, Bo Nix. And but anyway, before we get into it, we do want to shout out our sponsor.
Before we get into the rest of today's show, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. If you download Kalshi using the link in the description and use code DIGESTNFL, you're going to get $20 when you trade your first 100. Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the United States, and on their platform you can trade yes or no on real-life events such as sports, elections, news, really everything you can find on Kalshi. Now, whether you're in California, Texas, or anywhere across the country, Kalshi is now live in all 50 states. For sports fans, we can trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, or player performances, all on a regulated market where you can cash out at any time. Looking ahead here for the NFL schedule, we can look at the number one pick odds on Kalshi as a Fernando Mendoza is skyrocketing right now, but Dante Moore, you never know what could happen with the NFL and their odds on the first round pick. We can also pick an out-of-the-bucket option and go with Arvell Reese. This is genuinely a smarter way to use your sports and news knowledge, and you can close positions whenever you want. Again, download Kalshi with the link in the description and use code DIGESTNFL to get your $20 bonus.
All right, so listen, shout out the sponsor, Nugget. Hey, sorry, my dog's getting a little noisy. Anyway, I really kind of want to first shout out the fact that we won against the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. We are AFC Championship bound. We will be hosting the game because we are the 1 seed. So we won 33-30 in overtime. A crazy, thrilling game that I'm sure no Broncos fans will be forgetting anytime soon. No matter what happens next week, whether we make the Super Bowl or we lose, this season was a success, especially with this playoff win. I really am just really proud about the way that they fought, and what a crazy game. Bo Nix gave it all in year two. PFF shouted him out with over 5,500. This is including the playoffs. 5,500 passing yards, or total yards. Sorry, 33 total touchdowns, 12 interceptions, a 15-3 record as a starter. Just crazy stuff from our starting quarterback. The defense also balled out, they did not ball out. They made a ton of turnovers, but they also did not force a single punt. 3 sacks, 3 fumble recoveries, and 2 interceptions. We are hoping for a better performance next week because they also couldn't stop a nosebleed or force a fourth down, really. That wasn't a 4th and 1 that would be converted by a tush push. But we'll get into that over the week, but because we're going to have another game to talk about. But yeah, listen, weird defensive performance, but we still won. The news, though, that we cannot avoid and that what this video is going to be centered around, unfortunately, Bo Nix broke a bone in his ankle and will be out for the rest of the season, or the postseason, that is. So, which could only be 1 more game, could be 2 more games if they play in the Super Bowl. But that was announced by Sean Payton, and you could feel like this collective, what was it that Obi-Wan Kenobi says, shouts in agony and then dead silence or whatever. So, brutal news. Sean said we felt like it'd be the best to just tell everyone right now. Rip the Band-Aid off, so to say. Sean obviously looked devastated. I do think he handled this really, really well. And it sucks. It sucks. I think this was the best time to just, you obviously want your fans to relish in this awesome win. But to keep this under wraps, I think would be a mistake. I think this is better to just announce right now and have it come from Sean himself. I think it just meant a lot to me, and I'm sure a lot of other Broncos fans. So, terrible news. We will be without Bo Nix next week in the AFC Championship game, and that means that none other than Jared Stidham will be starting the AFC Championship game. This guy has not played any regular season snaps since 2023. And that was when Russell Wilson was benched, if I believe. Not his best work either back then, but it's a different team now. Different circumstances. We saw Jarrett Stidham play in the preseason. I know preseason is like mountains different than an AFC Championship game with a Super Bowl on the line. But this team knows that. And I think it's important to acknowledge that we know right now, like Stidham knows the night that we beat Buffalo, that we're going to the AFC Championship game, that it's going to be, he's going to be the play caller, or not the play caller, sorry, the signal, the guy who's kind of leading the way, leading the charge. I do think that this team can still win next week, win and go to the Super Bowl. I think a 2017 Nick Foles journey, it's listen, everyone talks about that as one of the biggest miracle runs in football, but we have a lot of similarities to that 2017 Eagles team. They were underdogs, and I think every one of their playoff games, because of despite being the 1 seed, because of just the nature of Carson Wentz going down with an injury and Nick Foles having to step up. And if you remember, actually not only was that a playoff run from Foles amazing, they blew out the Vikings in the NFC Championship game and then beat Tom Brady and the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I don't mean to say that this team is the 2017 Eagles. They have to write their own story, but this team is so resilient, and I do think they can survive without Bo Nix. Now, they will have to play a very different style of football. I don't think Stidham is nearly as agile or fast as Bo. I think the important part or his clutch, to be honest. I mean, there's a reason why Bo is starting over him, but Bo makes mistakes, and we saw a good amount of 3-and-outs in this game against Buffalo, and I'm not to say that won't happen with Stidham, but who's to say we don't get J.K. Dobbins back next week, and it's a run heavy game plan. Our offensive line is still fantastic. I truly see a path to victory with Jarrett Stidham. So I just wanted to say that first and foremost. But back to Bo Nix. He was great. I think the first half he was sensational. The touchdown to end the half was amazing, and then there was the fumble, and we got the field goal to end the half. I mean, Bo didn't have to do anything for that, but the touchdown to Lil Jordan Humphrey was incredible. The clutch touchdown at the end of the fourth quarter to Mims, amazing. And then overtime we got a few PIs to go our way, which were PIs, by the way. I don't really care what anyone has to say. And it, unfortunately, he got to finish the game. It's still a little unclear. Everyone's still kind of debating right now on Twitter where Bo injured his ankle. Like, was it on the throw that to Mims that was called for a PI that's put us in field goal range to kick the game-winning kick, or was it when we centered the ball on the kneel? I think it was. They said it was the second. Sean Payton said it was the second to last play where he injured his ankle. So everyone's scouring through the footage to find where you can see Bo limping or whatever. It's hard. It was fun, posting the video of Bo reacting to the kick, and he seemed stone cold and ready for the next game. But you can kind of tell, okay, he wasn't overjoyed because he knew he was hurt and he wasn't going to play next week. So it sucks. It absolutely sucks because Bo was phenomenal. He got his first playoff win. He is the second Broncos quarterback who was drafted by the Broncos to win a playoff game. The other was none other than Tim Tebow, actually, because John Elway was not drafted by the Broncos, and neither was Payton, obviously. But it's just, it is sad that, this run doesn't get to continue with him. I said I believed during the drive where he went to go take the lead. There was a lot of doubts, though. You could see it in the live stream. I thought when we, I don't know if we went 3-and-out or we got one first down and then punted. When we punted it back to Josh Allen in overtime and we didn't score anything, I thought we were cooked because our defense couldn't stop anything. The McMillan interception happens, and then we get, a really good drive with a few PI calls going our way. And Bo is just cold, man. When we need him most, he shines the brightest. I believe now the Broncos hold the NFL record for most comeback wins in NFL history in one season. We're the comeback kids. We're the comeback kings. So I'm going to be scared if we are going to need to come back next week in that game and we don't have Bo. It's just kind of how it is. And I just want to give as much credit as I can to him. He was, he played a great game. He got his revenge against the Bills. I felt bad for Josh Allen. Another heartbreaking loss for the Buffalo Bills. But, it was such euphoria because none of us knew that Bo was hurt. And then, about 40 minutes later, we find out. We get the notification, or if you're watching Sean's presser, you hear the announcement. So it's everything's it's a weird feeling. And again, like I said, I'm glad that they announced it now. Like, even the same night that we get the win, you tell us now. It allows Broncos country to soak in the information and then get behind Jarrett Stidham. I actually truly believe he has what it takes. Even Sean said it himself. He said, just watch, he'll be ready. And I didn't read it just as coach speak. I actually read it as like the way that he said, you'll see. Like, he believes in Stidham full-heartedly. And I think Stidham might be pulling like a Malik Willis. Like, whoa, like this guy had like this entire bag. Like, why is he throwing it so well? I'm ready. I know, listen, if we go against the Texans defense, it'll be scary. The Patriots, it'll be scary. Going up against Drake May, all of that, but we just beat Josh Allen and the Bills. I get it. We had Bo as our quarterback, but Bo wasn't perfect. He threw a really bad interception to a defensive lineman. We went 3 and out several times. It was not a clean game, and Bo had some great throws. Don't get me wrong, but it told me that we can play a messy game and still win against the big kids, the big guys. We are one of the big dogs in the AFC. We are the 1 seed for a reason. We proved it tonight, and we can prove it again with Stidham. I truly believe that J.K. Dobbins could really be coming back. And as long as Stidham is a distributor, he doesn't have to be a playmaker, but get it to our playmakers. Get the ball, distribute to our playmakers. Then I think we have a good chance of winning. We still have a great O-line. We can have a good run game with Dobbins back. As long as Pat Bryant's okay, Franklin, we'll have to figure out the injury situations for those guys. Our defense seems relatively healthy. Hopefully PS2 is okay. He did seem to finish the game because he got hurt early in the game. A lot of questions injury-wise. We will be without Bo Nix. That's the only thing we know for certain. And yet, even without Bo, I believe. And I hope you do too. I want you guys to still be able to enjoy this win. And I know it's hard for Broncos country to be happy and to be optimistic. A lot of people are writing off the season saying our season's done. I don't believe that. I believe that the Broncos will beat either the Texans or the Patriots and go to the Super Bowl. And we will discuss why and break down really like what's going to go into it this week, throughout this week. But first we got to figure out who we're playing tomorrow. We'll be watching that Texans versus Patriots game very closely. And Sim's got a whole week to prepare, man. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been like, midway through the second quarter, Bo goes down and Stidham has to just kind of go in and fill in the gaps. Stidham's going to get a whole game, a week to get ready, and they have to come to us. They got to come to Denver. I really believe that that's going to make a difference. So I listen, it's complicated. It hurts. It's all over the place. I understand wholeheartedly. We're kind of dealing with this together, Broncos Nation, Broncos country, but do not give up. Do not give up. Football is a weird sport, man. Anything can happen. We still have a great head coach in Sean Payton, and we can still do this. So, take the time. Feel free to rant in the comments if you have to. All that. Freak accidents, they happen, but this team can still win, and we'll talk about why in the future. But I hope you all are doing well. Enjoy tonight as much as you can, and we'll see you guys for the next video, breaking more of the game down.